Alright, so this is the final execution chamber from the Executioner DLC from the game The Evil Within. It's from the year 2014. A lot of people had complaints about performance issues, but I have to admit, maybe with me coming to it a few years later, they worked it all out because I did not have any issues whatsoever. So basically the concept you got going on here is you're stuck in this room, you're going to just have waves and waves of enemies. And also you're going to have boss waves as well. First ones are pretty easy, a couple guys, just smash them with the hammer. But then it starts getting a little bit more intense with more numbers and some big guys, like that guy in the back there. Interesting thing is the people with the pimple problems, so to speak, if you kill them without executing them, which is those final finisher moves, they'll actually transform into little exploding creepy crawler creatures. And I don't think I faced any on this go around, but they're quite annoying. Those big guys, they look intimidating, but I have to say they're really not all that hard. They have a very much set pattern of attack. They'll slowly walk up to you, and then they'll pause for a second and they'll start sprinting. See, that guy transformed in the back. He's going to start running at me, but he'll blow up after a certain time. But what I was saying is those big guys is once you let them do their little sprint, they'll tire out because they're big fatties, and they're like, oh, I gotta stand here and take a rest. And when they do that, all you have to do is poke them once with your hammer or something, and they will be ready for the final executioner attack, like what you see here. Even though their animation's a little bit different. So that wave's done. I think we have, this little mini wave where you have a guy with a gun and a guy with TNT. Always go with the guy that has the gun first because he takes a lot of health and he's more annoying. And I got 2 for the price of 1 with that, so ain't that fancy. Alright, next wave is definitely the start of the boss waves. We're going to have our chainsaw sadist. And so I just throw a little stick of TNT in there to say hello from the neighbors. And, oh yeah, got a little caught here. Got to break out. Fortunately, the hammer does have nice throwback or kickback. And it does AoE as well. Here's the thing about the boss waves. Is they will, those eye things which spawn all of the other zombies and whatnot, they will keep spawning out, I think, a certain amount of the grunts, so to speak, until you actually take down the boss of that wave. So you could try to kill all those little guys, with the strategy of get the small people out of the way first, but that won't work because they'll just keep spawning them until the sadist here is dead. So the trick I eventually started doing was just kind of always be moving. Don't stand still, otherwise that is most certainly death. And here's my technique. Oh, it didn't work. No. So here's the next boss. This guy has a knockback. That's the right word. And my technique for this guy is to kind of kite him and play a little danger close. And he will actually hit the other enemies, which is very helpful to clear them out for you. So you kind of have to activate his attack, then get out quick enough, like I did not there, and hopefully don't get caught in a corner, like I did as well. And he primarily sticks to the attack of just one big swing. Sometimes 2, but after you've been poking him for a little while, he will eventually switch to another attack where he does a series of swings, and that is a little health pack there. And yeah, like he's doing right there. So it's very kind of Dark Souls-esque, where you're doing a whole bunch of butt pokes. Little teeny tiny butt pokes. But really, the ultimate is you just have to stay mobile. That's your ultimate goal. If you get caught with your feet standing still, you're in trouble. So he's almost down. And that was a really close one. And there we go. Yeah, there's his flailing whale. Next up, we actually have two sadists. One of them is an RPG guy, which is kind of annoying. Trick here again is just keep on moving, weaving in between the trucks and weaving in between everyone else. And just going for quick little swoops. And if you got your Neo skills up to par, feel free to dodge the RPGs. Eventually, when you poke him enough, he'll say, you know, this is enough, man. Screw it, I'm just gonna grab my chainsaw, and he will do that. And he's pretty fast. Because here's the other little kink in the plan, is there's actually another chainsaw guy that's gonna pop out of the elevator, as you just saw there. So you're at some point, you could potentially be facing two chainsaw guys at once. Nice thing, though, is the second chainsaw guy, this guy right here, he only walks, where the other one that was using the RPG formerly, he likes to run, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, here's the guy that used to use the RPG, and now I'm kind of in a pickle, or almost was. And I decided it's time to pull out the katana. It has a lot faster attack speed, and I think it does quite a bit higher damage. There we go. One down, one to go. Do an execution. The other thing, too, is executions are really important because you are invulnerable when you're in the execution animation. So use that to your advantage. And I'm taking a lot of damage here. Finally, he goes down. Okay, so now we got to quickly move, and I'm trapped again. Come on, man, get on the stick. The final boss wave is really tricky. It is Sebastian and Joe from the main game. And these guys hit like trucks. And they got guns, too, which is tricky because they can get you from range. So what you got to do is got to plant those traps. It distracts them, gives you a few seconds to get off a few RPG rounds. And here's the troublemakers themselves. Okay, line it up. I tried this before and it's tricky. But my strategy was to get them both in the corner so that all of the rockets would be effective against both of them. But see, look at that. A couple shots and I'm already down to a sliver of a health. I can tell you, I was very, very nervous at this point, but I was hopeful. Sebastian is kind of the glass cannon. He hits a lot harder, but he's not quite as tanky as Joe, who doesn't hit as hard, but he's got a lot more health. The trick, I would say, is just stay at range. Use your Molotovs, your RPGs, and a couple more here, and this guy should be down. Yeah, there we are. And one more for good measure. This was maddeningly hard until I figured out how to do it, but as you can see, we've now cleared out the final execution chamber. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below, and of course, feel free to subscribe if you like. Thanks again. Goodbye.